What up, everybody? Welcome to the Bethel Students live stream tonight. My hair is getting out of control, full mullet territory now, but hey, for the kids. It was for the kids. Hey, welcome to the live stream. So glad that you're here tonight. My mic is really quiet. Never mind. Just kidding. Maddie made a mistake. Anyways, what I was saying is I'm really glad that you are here tonight. Thanks for being here. If you haven't already, let us know that you're watching from home or wherever you're watching in the chat. It's kind of our way of taking attendance and keeping track of who's being a part of this each and every week. But we're glad you're here. So I hope you have fun tonight. I hope you get some laughs out of this and you enjoy tonight, but also that you learn something and you feel impacted. But most of all, that you hear God's words to you tonight. I feel like he's got something special for you. Over the last few weeks, the last 3 weeks actually, we've been in this series on mentorship and what does it mean to have a mentor and why is it important to have a mentor, and what happens when you have a mentor. And so tonight I'm really excited to welcome the final guest to the stream, my youth pastors, Pastor Jeremy and Holly Bates. Yeah, you're going to hear all the dirt on who I was as a teenager from my youth pastor's perspective. It's going to be all sorts of fun. I can't wait for that. It's going to be really good. But we had an incredible time on Friday. If you were a part of OFlow 2021 one night online, can you write that in full caps in the chat? Just write OFlow if you were there, or put the praise hands up or something. And if you enjoyed it, I know we actually had some winners. So I'm pretty sure Atticus, you won one of the prizes. I think George Burkholder, did you win a prize too? I think I was trying to keep check. And I think Nicole Martin won the iPad. I promise you I didn't rig it. I would rig it for you guys. That's how much I love you, that I would rig it. But I didn't rig it, and you guys still won anyway. So I was pumped for that. OFlow was amazing. Hey, on my side, it was different. It was weird seeing it just from a room full of people running around with cameras and stuff and not being able to worship in the same space, but seeing how God spoke through Pastor Wayne, through the music, through the hosts, to you guys watching at home was an incredible thing that happened. So thank you so much for being a part of it. I hope that you enjoyed Overflow, and I can't wait for next year. And we pray and hope that, of course, we could be in person with all our friends across Ontario. It'd be so good. Anyways, we're going to get on to some of tonight's bits. So let's start off with some Maddie.
Look at my happy guy. Oh, just a happy guy. Oh, just a look at that the happy dog. Oh, just a happy.
Hello, Bethel students. Today we are going to be testing out to see if Moose likes multiple different foods, and we'll see how he reacts. Okay, are we ready? The first thing that we will go with is egg. It's cooked egg. Okay, let's try it. Let's see. What do you think? Oh, you finished that one.
Success.
Fast. Okay, let's try strawberry. You don't like that one? Okay, let's try a blueberry. Okay, what should we do next? Spinach? Wow. Is that one hard to eat? There we go, rip it apart. Too big of a piece. That one's really difficult, eh, Moose? Oh, you spat it out. Do you want to keep eating it or do you want to try a different one? That one was hard. You like this one, we know this. Romaine lettuce. That one's one of your favorites. You're a gross eater, Moose. Better not go on a date like that. That one good? Okay, let's see. You've never had cauliflower before. Let's try it. was a hit. Okay, you want to try zucchini? Never had zucchini either. I like cucumbers. Oh, we're going in for seconds of the cauliflower. Okay, our last one is a banana. Wow, are you sure you don't want to bite any of the banana? Okay, fine, here, you're gonna have more zucchini.
Try again.
Okay, ready? Banana. You really don't want that, you want the cauliflower. Another piece. Try strawberry again? Nope. Should we try the banana again? Where's Moose? Moose, look! You really don't want the... Take it.
Lettuce
It's the
on the banana.
strangest way to eat a banana. Look, he's just like nibbling it like it's corn. Feed yourself now. All your food on the plate. That's all you got left. You don't like any of these things? Okay, well, now we know that Moose very much dislikes bananas and strawberries. Oh, he's going for the strawberry now. He's changed his mind. But we hope you have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday. Goodbye.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment of Maddie and Moose. We had a real good time filming that one. We actually had to do it earlier this morning, and Moose loves human food. He truly does. He's actually a lot more healthier than me, and probably a lot of you. He loves his veggies. He loves spinach, aka spinach. And I'm surprised he ate the blueberry. Normally he spits the blueberries out. But he also loves chicken and steak and French fries. French fries might actually be his favorite. So I don't know if he's actually as healthy as we think he is. But that's always a lot of fun. Reading some of your guys' comments too of you feeding your dogs food. Before we go to the next segment tonight, why don't you type in, if you have a dog or a pet of any kind and you feed them food that maybe they shouldn't be having all the time, what is it? Put it in the chat. Let me know, and maybe I'll test it out with Moose. And I think he's actually here. Can you see him? Hey, Moose. Oh, yeah, there he is. He was snoozing. I woke him up. Sorry, buddy. Anyways, what do you feed your animals other than pet food? Let me know in the chat. Also, we got a soda stream this week. Worth it. Totally worth it. It was a gift, though. A Christmas gift. We finally did Christmas with some family. I feed my cat everything. That's awesome. Cheese. Yes, cheese. Cheese is good. Popcorn. Moose also loves popcorn. That's hilarious. It's so funny because he loves sweet and salty things. But then he also loves lettuce, like just a big leaf of romaine lettuce. I don't know what it is. Boo loves literally anything, edible or not. That's true. Samson loves chips. Nice. Chips are good. The bunnies that feed on our garden. Cucumber. Yeah, that's a good one. Hey, we're going to move on to the next segment tonight. So I think you're going to get a kick out of this one. It's always a good time. All right, let's watch it.
Hello, Bethel students. Welcome back to another week of Katie's Cooking Kitchen. Woohoo! So today I thought we could make a classic dish that everyone, I know every single person likes in their own variation. So I'm going to show you the way that I like to eat it. And guess what it is? Can anyone guess? It's BLTs! Woo! First thing you gotta do, which thank you Chef Julian
Guacamole.
already did, is cook your bacon up. Nice and crispy, the way we like it. You can cook it to whatever you like. And normally, like Julian's gonna have a
Guacamole.
but I like bread of all types, but we recently had waffles not long ago, and we had extra, so we froze it. And so I'm gonna use a waffle for mine. So I'm gonna try to be healthy. So I'm gonna do like an open face sandwich. So I'm gonna do just one half of the waffle. So first thing you gotta do is put it in the toaster. Not hard at all. When it pops up, we'll be back with you. All right, so the waffle pot, nice and toasty, warm, not too warm because don't want to burn my mouth. So the first thing I guess that you would do, well, I guess other than cooking the bacon that we already did, and cutting your stuff up. So we got some lettuce of the iceberg variety. Not really any nutritional value there, but still yummy. Adds the crunch. Then we got some tomato, lots of slices. I don't think we're gonna eat all these, but that's okay. It's more for later. And then onion. I'm not gonna have onion, but Julian probably will. It might not taste the best unless it was caramelized.
Guacamole.
I would actually be really good on this next time, or for you guys at home if you want. I don't know. Oh, Boo Radley, are you trying to show off your new ball? Is that your new ball? He's been very obsessed with it. Yes, it is. Okay. So I know I'm not a dog, a sweet little dog, but back to the show. So first thing, once everything's cut up and cooked and toasted and whatever you gotta do, instead of mayo, which I'm not in any form a mayo fan, I don't even know why I was touched. That's just, it's like allergic reaction. Or I wish. So you got your Aunt Jemima. You're gonna pour that on the base of the waffles so that it's not, I guess, too dry. There's some moisture or something to have everything stick. And then I would say you go and get your bacon, place it on top. We also have a lot of bacon, so I'm gonna take some more bacon. Is that good for you, Julie? Okay, so place it all nice and on top. Make sure you really dab the grease off. And then I will do this nice tomato piece on top. Smush it down a bit. And then I kind of ripped this up with Nature's Knives again. A little small. I should have done a little bit bigger pieces, but that's okay. Who knows, you know? You're gonna eat it, so it's gonna be small anyways when you eat it. Anyway, so just kind of put it there like a little patchwork blanket. You could put a cookie on top. Like this one. Or just put it on the side for later. It's oatmeal and other stuff, so it's probably healthy. And that's it for actually that, so let's go see how it tastes. Alright, so this beautifully healthy lunch, dinner, brunch, whatever you want to call it. You could have water or tea. I have a nice glass of orange juice with ice cubes. I'm not a big juice fan, but this pulped orange juice is actually pretty good. And it's like you're eating an orange, it's just you're drinking it, I guess. Why not put it in a fancy glass? Make sure Pastor Carlo knows all about this. Pinkies up. Pretty orangey. Okay, let's get to it. Nothing sliding, that's good. Ooh, syrup dripping. I guess that's how you know it's good, right? Okay. That is a winner of a dish. You got the lettuce, you got the tomato, so you're feeling good and crisp, like you're eating a salad. Right, Boo? Yep. Right, Fletcher? And then you got bacon for the meat, but then you got the sweetness of a nice, beautiful waffle and this Aunt Jemima syrup. And I guess that's it. Oh, look at that. Here, let's take one more bite just to make sure it's good. Alright, well, I'm gonna finish eating this up, this beautiful dish. How do you guys like your BLTs? Question mark, question mark. We'll see you next time on Katie's Kitchen. If you're curious, just give it a try. Pretty easy. And we'll see you later. Au revoir. Bon appetit. Bye.
All right. Thank you, Katie, for Katie's Cooking Kitchen with Katie. Again, such interesting, dynamic meals that cover all 9,000 taste buds, I'm pretty sure. I've just put it in the chat. If you would be up for trying a BLT on a waffle with an oatmeal cookie on top, let us know in the chat. Chad McLaren, an elf approved sandwich. Yeah, I feel like I'd have to try it, but I'm not convinced that it's as good. I'm not sure if when Katie's finished filming, she spits it all out again. I have no idea, but there's been some real interesting meals. I think last week, maybe the week before, there was salad with sprinkles on it. Real interesting stuff, but either way, thanks, Katie. Thanks, Katie, for keeping us laughing. See it. Will any of you guys try it? Ian Broadhagen, I'd be down to try it. Jack would try it. Maddie would try it. If you like chicken and waffles, there you go. I feel like it's not the same thing, but it's close. You're right. It's close. It's close. Sometimes there's tomato on chicken and waffles. So, hey, I'm really excited tonight about our final night in our series mentorship. In just a few moments, we're going to be welcoming Pastor Jeremy and Pastor Holly to the live stream to wrap this series up, and I'm so excited about that. They are some of my pastoral heroes, ministry heroes, and I know that I wouldn't be where I am today without them. But before we do that, we haven't done this in a couple weeks, so we got some pre-recorded worship of yours truly again. But hey, let's take these next few moments and let's ask Jesus to come into our space. So this is so different, right? Because I'm sitting here in my living room, the dog's lounging on the couch. You might be in your backyard or your bedroom. You might have your siblings around you poking you or something while you're trying to focus in. Whatever it might be, though, find a space and welcome God into it over these next few minutes. And we're gonna worship from home. And you know, I've said this a few times now, but I had a friend about a month ago said that there's going to be a revival in Canada in the young people, but it's going to start as a bedroom revival. It's not going to be a giant tent meeting like it was in historical times of recent or anything like that. It's going to be you right now, just you and Jesus saying, okay, Lord, I'm offering all my life again to you. I want to worship you, and God, take me out of my comfort zone. Take me out of my comfort zone. So before we worship, let's take a moment to pray today. Lord, thank you for this night. Thank you for a chance for us to gather, even if it's just virtually. And Lord, we pray right now that, God, we would welcome your presence into this place. And we say, Holy Spirit, have your way. Have your way in our hearts. Have your way in our life. Have your way in our home and in our space and everything that we do. God, we choose in this moment now to collectively, even though we're apart, but collectively worship you. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. All right, let's take a moment and worship together.
In grace, you show me grace. You lifted my shame, drawn me with loving kindness, washed whiter than snow. You have redeemed and made me whole. Jesus, you have won me. You've broken every chain with love and mercy. You triumphed over death, and you are worthy of glory and praise. Glory and praise. leaving your throne by bleeding and dying on a cross. That wonderful cross that took all my guilt and shame away. Jesus, you have won me. You've broken every chain with love and mercy. You've triumphed over death, and you are worthy of glory and praise. Glory and praise. Oh, Jesus, you have won me. You've broken every chain with love and mercy. You've triumphed over death, and you are worthy of glory and praise. Glory and praise. Glory and praise. You worthy, Lord. We say, shout it out and lift up one voice in worship. Sing it out until all the earth can hear it. Jesus is alive and He saves. He rescues and saves. Yeah, we shout it out and lift up one voice in worship. Sing it out until all the earth can hear it. Jesus is alive and He saves. He rescues and saves. He rescues and saves. Sing Jesus. Jesus, you have won me. You've broken every chain with love and mercy. You've triumphed over death, and you are worthy of glory and praise. Of glory and praise. Glory and praise. You gave your life for mine, nailed to the cross. You crucified all of my sin and shame. It was washed by your mercy. You are the treasure I find, my reason for living. So let my life become an offering to the one who is worthy. And all praise to the Lord Most High, and all praise to the one who saved my life. All praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, my King forever. You stoned the gates of my heart. The veil in between was torn apart. You hold the key And oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, my King forever. And oh, praise to the Lord Most High. And oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, my King forever. I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. Yeah. Oh, praise to the Lord Most High. And oh, praise to the one who saved my life. Oh, praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, my King forever. I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down for you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life down before you. And I lift my hands up, lay my whole life down, my whole life now is for you. Lives are for you. Yeah. And all praise to the Lord Most High. All praise to the one who saved my life. All praise to Jesus Christ, our King of heaven, my King forever.
Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much for worshiping with us over those last few moments. I hope that you just really felt the presence of God in your space and in your room, wherever you're watching. I'm just hopping over to Zoom now. I'm really excited for this, so let me get it working. Hey, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yes. Good. Okay. I'm doing like 10 things at once on my computer, so I just want to make sure I've like 10 screens. So, okay, everything's good. We're good to go, I think. Wait,
Perfect.
yeah, okay. You guys try your audio one more time.
Hello, can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
You can hear us?
There we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I know this is a little different and unorthodox because we're looking at each other, and I'm looking at you through this screen and a different. There's a whole lot going on right now, but you can't see the students. We've taken a bit of a different route this year of not forcing Zoom upon every single person. So, oh, is it still working or did it freeze?
Is it our Wi-Fi? Oh, there he's back. Sorry, we froze.
Okay.
So,
I think it's working now though. Maybe.
awesome.
Are we good? Is it
Yeah?
Yeah,
Is it working?
Okay.
yeah, we're good.
Good. It's probably our internet too. It's not the best doing it from home. I'm obviously doing youth from my living room right now. What I was saying.
I should.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I should kick the kids off of like Fortnite and.
Don't do that. They need that. What I was saying is that it's a little unorthodox how we're doing this, because I would love for you to be able to see all the students, but since we've kind of decided just to go away from like a full Zoom youth group, just for this season, we've been doing this live stream thing kind of from home in my living room, so they can see you, but you can't see them. And so they'll be able to see you and hear you. And if you need to, for any reason, you could always follow along in the chat on the YouTube stream if necessary. But, apparently
Awesome.
I'm really quiet, so I'm going to turn myself up. There, that should be better. Okay.
Well, it was amazing hearing you lead worship tonight, Carlo. It was like flashback to Fuse days for sure. It was awesome. I love it.
You know what's funny about that is we just got to serve at Overflow the other day, and Brady was playing and I was playing and some other guys, but Johnny was playing guitar, and I'm like, I remember being Johnny's junior high leader when he was 70 pounds. And now he's like full muscle man and way better shape than I probably will ever be. And I'm like, wow, this is a full circle moment for us. And it was really cool. So,
well,
yeah.
That's what mentoring's all about, right? Like you poured into John. I remember you teaching him how to play in junior high, and it's amazing to see.
I remember Holly yelling at you that you got to tune your guitar. You can't just play.
That's right. Oh yeah, those are such good times. Well, let me introduce you guys. These two that you see right now, students, are some of my favorite people. And although right now we're in different spaces, I know that every once in a while we still get to see each other and connect at conferences or different church events and stuff like that. And you guys seriously are some of my favorite people. And just right off from the top, I know that I would not be who I am and where I am today if it wasn't for mentors and pastors like you. So I owe you guys a lot. So seriously, you guys are awesome. And so students, Holly and Jeremy Bates, they were my youth pastors when I first started going to church. So before I was even a Christian, they were my pastors. We'll put it that way. So they got all the dirt of who I was and probably who I still am a little bit. I'm working on it though. I'm working on it. So I've given permission for every speaker so far on the live stream to give their point of view of who Carlo was as a teenager. You could share a funny story. You have free reign to go however you want tonight. And I know that if we share the same story, the way that I tell it is going to be a lot different from the way that you guys tell it. And so I thought it would be really funny to have the students hear it from your perspectives. So if you have anything on your mind, now's your chance.
You know exactly what story Jared's going to tell.
There's so many.
Before he gets to his story, I would just like to say to your youth group that like I woke up so many times with like toilet paper all around my house and around my front tree that our neighbors were like, what is happening? So I really hope that you guys are like creative at getting Carlo back for all the things that he did to us.
That part I haven't grown up yet, by the way.
Have you been toilet papered yet, Carlo?
You know what? My first day on the job, they TP'd my office, and I'm still finding toilet paper there. Like I'm still finding it in nooks and
I'm glad.
crannies.
Way to go. Way to go, guys.
I've also found saran wrap around the car. That works good too. But yeah, like you said, when you started coming to church, you were wild, man. I think like my first year at Glad Tidings, I was afraid to take you guys to Overflow. I actually was like, I didn't get a hotel. I was afraid to go to a hotel. So we went to the Emmanuel Bible College dorms
Yeah.
because I was afraid to take.
I know where
youth
this
to
is going.
They were crazy times. But one of my favorite stories about Carlo is you were going to do your internship. What do you call it? Co-op.
Co-op, yeah.
High school co-op. Glad tidings. And so Tuesday mornings I have staff meeting, and you and your buddy were supposed to show up at noon to start co-op. And I was in staff meeting. I didn't know that you guys came at 10 in the morning. And by the time I got out of staff meeting, Carlo and his friend Eric, they had gone through the whole church and collected everything they could find and put it into one of the Sunday school classrooms to create their office. And so they had like slides from the preschool room.
Yeah.
They had the old N64s and Nintendos, everything they could find they had in this office. And so I don't know if you guys watched the show The Office, but in season 1, Michael Scott tells Dwight, he said, you're not allowed to have an office. It's a workspace. And so I tried to instill in them, they don't get an office as an intern, you get a workspace. And so that was awesome. You guys were crazy. But you guys actually got kicked out of your workspace.
Yeah, it lasted maybe half an hour.
I think you made it a couple of weeks, but I was away one day and they got into some shenanigans, and our lead pastor, Kevin, he's like, those guys are done. They're not allowed in the office anymore. They need to work in the lobby where everyone can see them.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, I don't know what you guys did, but it must have been awesome. So that went on for a few weeks. And then I was away another week, and I came back, and they were like, hey, we asked Pastor Kevin if we could have our office back yesterday, and he said he'd think about it. You know, we've been doing a lot better. We've been really improving. So I said, oh, okay, great. I'll ask him. So I went in that afternoon, and we had a staff lunch. Someone was retiring, so we were all out for this lunch. We all came back to the church, and I said, hey, Kev, the boys were asking me if they could have their office back. And he goes, well, I was going to give it to them. They've been really, really great, the last few weeks. But while we were away on lunch, the custodian said that he saw them on the roof of the church. And so I went in and I was like, hey, guys, what did you say? What did he say? And I said, he said that you guys could have their office back. And they're like, oh, this is amazing. And then I said, but then he heard you were on the roof. And he said, no more office for the rest of their faces were so downcast. It was the highlight of my semester. I loved it. So that's one of my favorite stories.
I'm glad
Carlo.
my pain could bring you joy. I have so many good
what about
stories.
You getting stories?
Oh yeah, lots of good stories. Well, I was thinking of the one maybe from Overflow, and I think we kept all the breakfast. Maybe we had all the breakfast food. And the next day, Jared's like, "Where's all the muffins? Where's all the breakfast for everyone?" And did you eat it? Was that the story?
I remember that was my very first Overflow. So I'm not a Christian yet, right? Like I became a Christian that night, Friday night. So I've been a Christian for like 3 hours. And so I was deserved of much grace that night. You guys, or whoever, maybe it wasn't you, put all the breakfast food, and I had never had a Danish before. And I was like, that's breakfast? That thing's covered in sugar, right? And it's like I didn't need any more of that. And so I'd never had one. And I said, hey, you know what's better than one is all of them. So I ate every Danish that was in. I think it was like it was 60 of us or something that went. Like I had enough for like a year's worth of Danishes. And Jeremy, you have this thing where you don't really ever get angry at people. I've never really seen you get upset or angry. And even if you're frustrated or tempted to be upset, you still have a smile on your face, which scared me the most, because I was like, wow, he's angry and happy at the same time. What does that mean? And I remember that night.
Just ignore what's happening. Just ignore what's happening right here.
Or
I'm really mad.
That morning, you just let me have it. And I'm like, oh man, I really messed up. And I remember being really thirsty. And I remember I didn't eat anything, but I took a juice box, and you stared at me from across the room. I just threw it in the garbage. I didn't even get to finish the juice box. There's so many good moments. I think about co-op too, and I remember this one specific moment. me and Eric figured out how to turn all the projectors and stuff on. We were never supposed to learn how to do that when we were 15 years old, but we learned how to do it. And all the staff, pastoral staff, were gone except for us. So red flag already, right? And I remember we learned how to turn that all on, and we put the SpongeBob movie on the big screens, full blast on the speaker system, and we turned all the lights off. And we lied down. I don't even remember doing anything productive at co-op. Not your guys' fault, my fault. I was a terrible co-op student. I just had a co-op student too, so I didn't let them get away with any stuff like this. I know I'm a little bit hypocritical sharing this story, but anyways, we're putting the SpongeBob movie on, full blast, pitch dark on this like triple screen projector. And I remember Pastor Kevin opening the door and walking in, and we're lying down in that middle aisle between the pews. And because all the lights are off, you can only see his silhouette. So this tall black figure walking in, and we're like, oh man, we are in so much trouble. And then of course we did get in so much trouble. But I have banks and banks of just stories like that. But man, we had it good as students. First of all, because we just had so much fun with each other, but also because it was for people like you that helped create an environment for us to feel safe to have fun. And I'm not even just talking about like the stupid or silly and sometimes illegal things we did on the church property, but more of the place where it's like we always wanted to be there. Like we lived at that church, and it had to do with the environment that you guys had helped provide. And if there's one thing that's really special and that I've held on that I learned from you guys, is that I want to create a space for students where they feel like it's home for them, whether they have a home at their home or not, that when they come to youth on a Wednesday, hopefully it's translating online, but at least when we're back in person, that they go, I just love being here. There's something about being here. And we did youth on Fridays, students, when I was in high school, and it was my favorite night of the week. Since I started going to youth, I haven't missed one. And so I'm still going to youth every week, and I love it. So we have so many good stories like that. Thanks for never calling the cops on me though, or escorting me out of the church, or thanks for never giving up on me.
Now, when you were in high school, you loved being at church so much, and I think you didn't love school that much.
That's true.
We actually had to ban you from the church during the school hours because you would just come and your mom would be like, Carl's not going to school. Like, I don't know where he is. Or like, dude, you can't be here. You need to be at school.
I know. I remember it's like I wanted a drum set so bad, but we lived in a townhouse, so we didn't have that luxury of space. And I was like, I could just go to the church and play the drum set at the church, and nobody will know because it's on the other side of where the offices are.
One thing for sure, though, is when you really, once you really got a hold of God, you always just had this incredible passion for the Lord, and more importantly, for seeing people to know Jesus and come to the Lord. And that just, that's what I remember, about you in youth. You just wanted to pour into people. You wanted to serve God. You wanted to do what was, honor him, and see your friends come to know the Lord, see your family come to know the Lord. And that really stands out in our minds.
Yeah.
It's really significant for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad that you guys are here. And tonight we are finishing up our series. So I've saved the best for last. Pastor Holly and Pastor Jeremy. I would love to have just a conversation. And I've given you guys some questions, but we can go off the script if needed, wherever kind of we feel led and whatever comes to mind. So we're talking about mentorship, and it's been really neat to see the feedback that I've been getting from students, and being able to reminisce on these old times, but also talk to the most influential people in my life and some of Maddie's life as well. And it's a real honor to have you guys here and a part of this. So got a couple questions for you. I look them up on my phone here. So kind of the first thing that I've asked every single person is how would you describe mentorship in your own words? Because it can kind of feel like it's a business model word. You know what I mean? Like when you think of the word mentorship, you're like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, and so I have somebody that mentors me. But when we think of it in the spiritual sense, and maybe in your own personal experiences as pastors or when you were students, what does mentorship mean to you? Like, how would you explain it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've been tracking with you guys, following along the other weeks, and so there's been some great illustrations, standing on the shoulders of giants and
Hmm.
stuff like that. For me, I really see mentorship as, we look at people and we see the finished product. Really, we look at their life and we're like, that's what I want to be like,
Hmm.
a finished product. But mentorship is really showing the pattern of how to get there. And so I don't know if you've ever put IKEA furniture together or whatever, but like you look at, what it's supposed to be. You can look at that dresser and try to figure out how to get there when you look at the box of flat pieces, but the pattern shows you how to put those pieces together to get there. And so no one's journey is always the same, but a mentor is really showing you a pattern of how to get to the finished product. A lot of times we look at people and we look at their life and we're like, that's the life that I want, but we don't know how they got there. We don't know what they've been through. We don't know what storms they've endured or what hurts they've gone through. And so we just look at that finished product and we're like, wow, that looks perfect. That looks like, that looks great, but I could never accomplish that or achieve that because, I don't have the same pieces or the same story, but the pattern is really helping, the mentor is helping you discover that finished product. So that's how I look at mentoring.
Yeah, I think kind of the same kind of thing, like teaching. You guys come to church or youth group and you hear, teaching, or you read your Bible and you're like, okay, you kind of see what to do. But mentoring is really doing life together, being for both people. I think for the mentor and for the person that is being mentored, being vulnerable together. And mentoring really shows you how to do it. So I think that's where sometimes we miss it, because on Sundays or on youth, you're like, okay, I hear where I'm supposed to be, and then during the week you're like, I don't really know how I'm supposed to live this out every day. And that's where a mentor just comes in, and people that you do life together and just walks you through that. So it's really that how to and that practical. We see that in Jesus. That's what he did for his disciples. And so that how to and doing life together is really important.
Yeah, that's really good. And we're in a season like every other place, in Ontario at least, of where staying communal with people and finding community and having really good bonds and friendships is difficult. You have to put an effort into it if you want it right now. And so what you're talking about is doing life with people. Man, if there's ever a time for somebody to hop on board, now is the time. Like, even if you feel like you don't need it now, don't wait till you're in a spot where you're like, oh, now I need a mentor, now I need a friend, because I'm in a sticky situation. Like, if we can get into the habit of having people in our life that are going to be there for us and lift us up and are praying for us and helping lead the way, that we can cry with, we can mourn with, we can just be authentic and real with before you have those hard moments in life. It is so helpful. I think of each and every one of these, including you guys, people that I've had on the live stream, and I didn't have to hit a hard moment or season in my life and then find somebody like you. I went, oh man, right. I've been really blessed. It's luxurious, the leaders that I've had in my life. And I'm spot on with what you guys just said about that. That's really awesome. That's good. Thanks for sharing that. So you guys, how long were you youth pastors for?
I was youth pastor for 10, and then I planted a multi-site church. So
yes.
Yeah. And then, so I was youth pastor for 10, and then junior high for another little bit after that. Yeah. So
cool.
A good probably 12 years or something like that.
You know what?
It's good. We loved it.
It's probably my fault. You guys probably could have youth pastored longer if I didn't wear you out so fast. You probably had 3 or 4 years extra there. Yeah, you can account that to me piling on the stress.
I have 3 kids of my own. I think it's from them. I won't blame you for that.
Okay, that's cool. And wow, that's so cool too, just to see, I remember coming and then you guys having Maddie's your first child, right?
Maddie.
Yeah, and I was this was a really cool moment for me a couple of years ago. The junior high pastor at the time asked me to come and speak a retreat. I had never done that before. I'm like, really? Me? But I was like, glad tidings? Yes. like I needed to be in that spot, and how cool it was to speak to your kids. I was like, that was like super full circle to me. And I was like, yeah, I never imagined that would have ever happened in my whole life. And that was really special to me. I remember that all the time. I kept all my notes from that because I was just like, that was a staple moment in my ministry. And yeah, it was so cool and honorable to what you guys did for me to do that for one of your kids, even just for a weekend, was like, wow, this is awesome. That was so good.
I think that's the thing with mentoring, like mentoring and being mentored is you never know, like you never know where the investment that you make, you know, where people are going to turn out. So, you know, you never know the investment, you know, God puts the right people in your life at the right time. Right. And you were just talking, Carlos, I love how you're just saying like authenticity a minute ago. And I think that's a really important part of mentoring and accountability, because it only works where, you know, you can only be accountable for what you share and for what you want to be accountable for. And I think that's really important, because if you really want to go deep in a mentoring relationship, whether you're being mentored by someone or you're mentoring someone, you have to be like just vulnerable. You have to be able to be authentic and real. And I think, you know, you never know where that relationship's going to go. You never know who you're in, you know, what's going to happen with the people you're investing in. Right. You just trust God, and it's amazing to see what he does.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good. So over your years of youth pastoring, what effect did mentoring have on the students that you got to pastor? So, you know, you guys had pastored for 10 plus years, and I think it was over 2 different churches, if I remember. But you would have been able to see, not that mentoring is the be all and end all, and mentoring doesn't save us. Jesus saves us, right? But mentoring obviously has a really important factor in the spiritual growth of a young person. And we know the stats of, you know, when a student turns 18, 80 or plus % in North America throw their faith away when they go to university. And the reason why we're having this series on mentorship is I really want to flip that number. I want it to be 80% plus stay with their faith. They continue to serve and love Jesus. And I know for me, one of the big reasons that I continued to do that is because I had really good mentors in my life that kept pushing me in the right direction. So in your experience, what kind of effect did mentorship have on the students that you had to pastor, or got to pastor? Sorry.
Yeah, so it's really cool. Like when you were just saying that you were speaking at the junior high retreat where my kid was, you know, and even you just said overflow, and, you know, the bass player and the electric player and yourself, you know, those are all products of legacy and generation. So when I think of youth ministry, I'm always thinking about legacy and generation. What I mean by that is I think it's important that everyone has a mentor and that everyone is mentoring someone else. And so what I'm always looking for is for students to do what's been done for you. And if it hasn't been done for you, do what you wish had been done for you.
Yeah.
And I always am thinking that it's important that you're looking, you know, 2 or 3 grades behind you and saying, who's in that grade that I can pour into? So if you're in grade 9, like, it's perfect for you to be pouring into junior high kids. If you're in junior high, be helping with the kids ministry, but looking who's coming up behind you that you can invest your life in, because it's really, you know, what you're taking in helps you grow, but what you're putting out is what really makes it real and tangible in your life. And so I think that's really important.
Yeah. I think I love the 2 Timothy 2. It says this, this was Timothy talking, and he goes, you've heard me teach things that have been confirmed by reliable witnesses. And then he says to Timothy, now you go and teach these truths to others, to other trustworthy people who will pass it on to others. So in that verse, you could see like four deep, like 4 different people. You know, Timothy teaches to Paul, who teaches to somebody else, who teaches to somebody else. And so we always say, like, we got to think 4 deep. And so I think, like, you know, you could really tell, you know, so for us, like, it's about like Jer said, having a mentor, but also mentoring somebody. Right. You could tell if you're, you know, if you're like a consumer kind of Christian, you know, you lack some immaturity in your faith, and you know that that's happening when your eyes are on yourself all the time, when you just start thinking about you getting fed and how your needs are getting met. When you end up bored or disgruntled, maybe you're like blaming other people for your lack of growth. That's when it's all about just you. But really healthy growth happens when you're an investor. And so that's where you think 4 deep. So that's when you go, who around me needs something that I can offer, like my peers, or who behind me, even better. So if you're in grade 12, like you look behind you and go, who's in grade 9 and 10 that I could invest in? If you're in grade 9, look behind you, who's in grade 6 and 7 that I can invest in? And think about investing in somebody 4 deep, and that's how you really leave a really great legacy. So you're mature when you're looking like 2 to 4 years behind you, when there's like fruit in your life because somebody else is going like, I'm just so, like, that conversation we had that helped me so much, like, thanks so much for encouraging me, thanks for reaching out, and you recognize it's not your youth pastor's job to mentor everybody, like, and then you begin to grow so much when you take that ownership, because everything you're learning now, you're also, pouring out into somebody else, and something happens. Like, God does something unique in you when that process happens.
Wow. So you basically, what you just said is that you're not too young. And I love how you use the example of Paul and Timothy, right? Because like Timothy was like, like a 15-year-old church planner. Like, it's crazy when we think about the reality of the New Testament and the ages of some of those people. That's so good. And like you said words, I'm going to have to go back and like clip this and put it on our Instagram or something. That was so good. You're like, that there's evidence or there's fruit in your life when you're mentoring somebody, and you're not just thinking about yourself and how, if you're always just thinking about yourself and how you can get fed and become a consumer Christian, like that's an immature faith. That's immature spirituality. And when it doesn't become about you all the time. And I love how so far in this series, we've been talking about how it's really important for a student to have a mentor. So whether that be myself or Maddie or one of our other leaders, or maybe it's their mom or dad or a different pastor or somebody maybe at the church or in their workplace, wherever, but you're even flipping it now and saying that, like, they're ready. They're not too young. If you're in grade 9, take a grade 6 or 7 under your wing. And I love that. It's something that Pastor Chad had said about this a few times on different Sundays is, to be a mentor, to take the weight off. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real and being authentic and just a couple steps ahead. Not that it's a race, but it's like if you are a few seasons ahead of somebody in life because you're older and you have different experiences, and that's what happens, you can actually mentor somebody that's, like, in a sense behind you, that's a couple seasons behind you. And I love that. So students that are watching tonight, like, be encouraged that yes, you got to get a mentor if you don't have one this summer. This is the summer to do it. Let's get together and do it. But you also have the gift to mentor somebody, and it's going to increase your faith. There's going to be good fruit that comes from that. That's such a good word. That's good.
Yeah, for sure. I always found like grade 12 students, and they've been in youth ministry for all through junior high, all through high school. So by grade 12, they're like, I've been here and done this. This is my 4th retreat. I've been to Mediba or Minneola or wherever you guys go, and I've been to Overflow. I've been here and done this, and there comes a point where if they're not living this out, they're like, I'm bored with this. I've been there and done it. But the ones that are like, no, like, I'm so excited to be here because I'm building the legacy. The Bible actually says that the work of the pastor is not to do all the ministry, is to equip the saints for the work of ministry. And so even in junior high, in high school, like, you're doing the work of the ministry when you're investing and mentoring those coming up. So like Holly said, look for who's around you, and then look for who's coming up behind you, and let's do it together.
I love what you just said too. And I right when you said, like, we are meant to equip the saints, I think of you guys, because when what I see you guys doing is I love watching Glad Tidings, either a Sunday morning, or like you guys will do like a worship music video or something, and there's kids that are a part of it, like kids, and I'm like, that's awesome. So we are always like, us as a church, we're inspired by that, and we're trying to figure out more on ramps for young people to come and be a part of things. And like when we were thrown into this season, like every other church, of like, all right, we're moving everything online. You got to spend all the whack of money on a bunch of stuff and try and do it well. Like most of our like camera team are like young families. So it's like dad will be at the switcher and all of his kids will be on a camera. And I'm like, yes, that's what it's about. And they have a ton of fun doing it. And so we've been inspired, because I was like, I remember when I was 15 and played guitar, but I could not sing. And I'm like, I'm still more of a yeller than a singer. And I'm like, I'm sure I made your all ear bleed lots of times at youth. Actually, I was just sharing.
Okay. Screamo was really in then. So
it wasn't. I had a good excuse. Yeah, I remember my co-op student Ben, who's obviously finished co-op now, but I played him okay, we'll back up. I went home a couple months ago, and I had to pick some stuff up from my mom's, and I had all my CDs left over from my childhood bedroom. So I threw out half of them, and I had remember the sleeves you'd put CDs in, that you'd put them in the car and they would like zip up. So I was like, okay, I have like 20 slots, so I can bring 20 CDs with me, and they're still in the car. And so I had like Billy Talent and Nirvana and Under Oath and all these bands that I would still listen to, but I did when I was a kid, and I played them for the co-op students, and they were just disgusted. Like, how do you listen to this kind of stuff? I was like, I don't know, man. It's just an early 2000s thing. You would understand. But yeah.
My daughter turned 14 this week. She hates all my music.
Yeah.
Like, this is awesome. This is stuff my parents never listened to.
Yeah.
I thought it was awesome.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I love what you guys are saying. Such wisdom tonight.
It takes intention. Let me just say, it takes intention though. So when I talk about looking who's coming behind you, when you're in grade 6, like you don't care about grade 4s. Like you don't hang out with them unless you're intentional. Yeah. You know, if you're in grade 9, you don't hang out with grade 6 or 7s unless you're intentional about it. So it does take some intention on your part.
Right.
But those are the kids that are looking up to you, and they look at the product of your life, and you're going, hey, let me show you the pattern of not just who I am, but how I'm becoming. Yeah. And let me just say, it takes intention, but that's good.
Intentionality. That's
very
true. No, that's true. That's true. It takes intentionality. I just got a shout out to Ian Broadhagen, who was my other co-op student. He said he did like the music. So shout out to Ian that he likes Nirvana and Under Oath. That's awesome. Oh, that's so good. I don't want to keep you forever tonight. I want to honor your time, but I also love you guys, and so I'm going to steal you just for a couple extra minutes because this is so
I love
good.
It. Loving it.
Could you let us a little bit into maybe your own personal lives and where mentorship has affected you? So I've loved hearing the stories of all of our people we've interviewed so far, of people that have mentored them and how that affected their life growing up. And even still, it's not like we get to a certain age and then go, oh, I don't need a mentor anymore. I've made it, right? It's kind of like a lifelong journey. So is there any people in your life that you recall, or even maybe currently, that have been mentors, and what did that look like? Like, what did that relationship look like practically for mentorship? And then what did it do for you? Like, how did it change you?
So for me, I've always been a really big learner and question asker. And so I've always wanted to learn from others. So for me, sometimes it's from a distance. Like there's people that I've watched from far away, and just kind of watched how they've led their life and led. So I'm a pastor, so I am inspired by other pastors and different people where I'd say, hey, I've just been watching you from afar. Maybe I didn't even get to know them personally, but I'm mentoring, I'm learning from them, and they don't even realize it. Then there's other people that have been short-term in my life. So my youth pastor was really instrumental in my life too. Mostly after I graduated. So when I grew up in a small church, maybe 100, 120 people. And my youth leader was just a volunteer, not just a volunteer, but he was a volunteer who worked at.
Those are the heroes, right?
Yeah. Like he totally built cars, he was on the car assembly line. And so he would in between cars, they would come along on the assembly line and he'd be writing his youth message, getting ready for the night in between cars. Wow. And so it was awesome. He just invested in us. And then I graduated from high school and moved to Oshawa. It was the first time I had a paid youth pastor. And that was really instrumental. That was about 2 years that I had them. So
yeah,
that was really big.
So I think we've had people mentor us from a distance, from like, and then sometimes it's just seasonal. Like people, sometimes your mentors are like really close and they're in your life for a season, and then they're out of your life, and you go like, you know, there are really significant things you got from them in that season. And then there's some mentors that are there for the long haul. You know, they're so like seasonally, like Jer's youth pastor was actually my youth pastor as well. And, you know, then he went on the mission field, and he, you know, he's really great, but we're just not as connected to him anymore because of distance and things like that. Yeah. I lived with, when I graduated high school, my pastors from when I was younger moved to Florida. And so nice. When I graduated, I know, right? When I graduated, they asked me to come and do an internship at their church and to live with them. And I just thought, like, what an incredible opportunity to, you know, live in their home and just really learn from them. And I learned so much from them that year. And, you know, it's a lifelong relationship, but that year was definitely like a seasonal, like really they invested in me and poured into me. Actually, the lady that I was living with, she was such a prayer warrior that I would hear her like at 3 a.m. Sometimes I'd wake up and she'd be outside my door, like praying for me. And so like all of the kids' rooms were like all in one spot, and my room was there too. And she just like pray outside of each of our doors in the middle of the night. Sometimes I'm like, it's like, it's so I know, but it's like so inspiring. Like I totally learned prayer from her.
But not at 3 a.m. Holly does not get up at 3 a.m. to pray.
My prayer at 3 a.m. is like a silent prayer. It's like in my mind.
Oh, that's awesome.
So there's like seasonal, and then I think there's people, like I said, for the long haul. You know, the people that are in your life and they're mentoring you, like Kevin Shepherd's someone like that for us. Right. We worked with him for 14 years. He's still in our life, you know, still connected. He's still the person that we would call, like if we were like, I don't know, like here's questions, you know, I'm not sure in ministry. So he's definitely there for the long haul. And then the last category for us, I think, is just like life, like just life. And I feel like those people like sort of cross over. There's some people in your life that are like mentors, and that's the role they play. And then there's some people that are like friends. They're like so on the inner circle. They become like family, like friends who are family. And you just do life together. And they're the people that know everything. They know the good, the bad, the ugly. They know about the ministry stuff. They know about the personal stuff. They know about all the things, you know, and those are just, you know, they cross over almost into like this family zone. And you just do life with them. And those people are so valuable. So I feel like there's a couple different layers of people that have been mentors and influential in our life. And we're still meeting people. Like we just met someone 6 months ago, and we met him and we were like, wow, like we need to stay connected to this person. Like they will be really significant. And they walked us through some great things in the last couple of months, and we don't plan on letting them go anytime soon.
I think for the most part of my younger years, I would say I had to chase mentors, or based, that's what I say, but I had to like go after people that I wanted to gain from. They didn't just naturally like come along and pick me. You know, sometimes it was just like opportunity, you know, so I had to go find the people that I wanted to learn from. But I also hear people complain like no one mentors me, and I've always said you gotta go find that person, you know, that you want to pour into. Do for others what has been done for you if you've had a great opportunity, and do for others what you wish people had done for you if they haven't. And so, you know, I don't think there's any room to complain that no one's poured into you. You got to go after it, and then make sure that you're doing that for someone else. So
I already had to eat a slice of humble pie this morning, and that's a good slice of humble pie right there. What you just said is like, hey, like if you are in a scenario where it's like, how come I'm not the one who's picked, or how come no one's paying attention to me? It's I'm not convinced that nobody's paying attention to that person that feels like that tonight, and it actually breaks my heart when somebody does feel that way. But don't let it end there. If it's in you to go, I know that this is important, whether it be myself or Maddie or any of the leaders, like I already said, like we want to do that. We want to do that. And we want to partner with each and every student that's on here live right now and the ones that are going to watch it later. And Holly, I liked what you said too about like mentorship looks different in layers. So you have those that are like far away, that it's like, I'm never going to meet that person, but I listen to the Craig Rochelle podcast or something, right? And you glean those 20 minutes every other week. And then you have people where, you know, they're kind of close, but they're almost like seasonal mentorship. So they're not somebody that's in your life forever, but it's really vital that they were in your life at that point of time for whatever season you were going through, and you held them close. And you might be far away now, but it was so vital that they were there at that point, like you were talking about with your youth pastors when you guys were younger. And you talked about leaders in your life that are kind of always there, and you're never going to let them go. And you know, you would pack your family up and follow them around the world if that's what it meant, if it's that important. And then you also talked about one that I think is probably the most misunderstood, I would say, is the friend side of it. And one thing that I don't remember if it was Mike or Dan, I don't know, I'm sure everybody said it in different words, but they said you can actually mentor each other. And one thing that I think is good to clear up is that a mentor who is your friend, who's the same age as you, is pushing you towards faith, not pulling you away.
Yes.
Because I could have a friend that knows everything about me and is there for me and cares about me and is my best friend. But if they're pulling me away from God, they might not be mentoring me in a healthy way or in a good spiritual way. And so it's students, I want you to hear that tonight, that it's like, if you got a good circle around you, keep that circle close, keep that circle tight. And then if you're thinking like, well, maybe I don't need an adult mentor because I have friends that know everything about me, right? It's, hey, but are they pushing you towards God? Did they say, hey, are you on the live stream tonight? Are you going? Or it's like, whatever, we don't really need it anymore, right? It's like, find those people that are your age or in that same season as you and pull them close. And the ones that are pushing you towards faith, pushing you towards God, those are your mentor friends. Those are the ones that you don't want to let go of. And I think of like a Brady, like we were talking about a few minutes ago with Overflow. Oh man, me and Brady used to take his mom's car and drive for hours on Friday night after youth. And we would just talk about, life. We would pray for each other. We would cry with each other. We didn't tell anybody that part, and then we would laugh with each other. And then we take his mom's car off these jumps to end the night off right. Cause that's what you do when you're 16.
Right. Did you wreck his dad's car?
No. So we should have, I mean, the fact that it didn't break physically, I'm pretty sure the computer in his car went, and it costed more to fix the computer than it did to buy a new Audi TT. But we should have died, and we should have wrecked both his parents' cars multiple times. We were talking about that at Overflow too. I was like, wow, we had, like, God saw us that night, and he was like, it's not your time yet. I don't want you to die like this. But there's no other reason why we survived those Friday nights after youth. This has been so good, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. So much wisdom, so many good thoughts. I know each and every student that's watching now and the ones that are going to tune in later this week are going to be blessed by your wisdom. And it is so, so cool to have my youth pastors come to the youth group that I get to now pastor. And I can't wait for the day where I actually invite you in person to come and hang out with us, because I think that would just be even that much better. Want to ask you one more question just before you leave, and this has been a really good question to hear from every person. So students, listen up to this, because I know that they're going to say something real good and important. No pressure, by the way. But if you could leave the students with one encouraging thought tonight. This is a season that feels like it's never ending, first of all, and it has taken a toll on people in their whole person, physically with their body, mentally with their minds, with their heart and their emotions, and their faith spiritually. It's been a real test for a lot of people, young and old and everywhere in between. So as pastors, as people that I know love God and hear his voice and have stayed close to him, and I'm sure you guys have even had your own scares and struggles throughout this year, is there a word of encouragement you could share with our students tonight before we close off?
Yeah. I think I think it's like Carlos said, if you are struggling, find somebody, find help. Like don't stay silent. I think one of the enemy's biggest tactics is he would like to just say to you, you're the only one. You're the only one that is dealing with this. You're the only one that is thinking this. You're the only one that is going through this. And that's how the enemy keeps us silent. And as soon as you find a mentor that you can trust and you can share with, you realize, whoa, like there's a lot of other people that can identify with the things that I'm dealing with. And actually, God himself wants to be there. And so sometimes you just need those mentors to see that. So if that's you, I just really encourage you, don't keep it don't be silent. Don't keep whatever you're working through a secret. Find somebody you can trust. And, and if you don't know who you can trust, Carlo and Maddie and your youth leaders. Yeah. That's a great place. And trust me, there is literally nothing you could say that would shock them. Like so many times students would come into my office and they'd like say something and they'd be like, I thought you'd be like, so I'm like, literally, we've heard it all. But
we used to have a student named Carlo, and
but literally, like that is just the enemy's like one of his number one lies is just like stay quiet. You can deal with it yourself. Don't let anyone in. Just figure it out on your own. And we do really need community around us. So
that's good.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah. So don't stay silent, and then don't keep it to yourself. I'd say if you need it, someone else needs it. And so if you need encouraging, then be an encourager. If you need, someone pouring into you, then pour into someone else. So that's what I would just say is think of legacy and generations for your youth group, for your church. If you get this, when you're older, there's so many people at church that act like guests when they should be hosts, So even in your youth group, right? Don't be a guest, be a host, so that when the guests do come, you're on them. You're looking for the outsider.
That's good.
Like I think like before you leave, so whatever grade you're in, figure out how many years you have left before you graduate high school in youth ministry. And basically think about this. Who am I going to invest in that will like replace me in youth ministry? So if you're on the worship team, be investing in someone else. If you are like whatever you're doing, invest in somebody else and in there, like look behind you, pick someone a couple years younger than you, invest. And that's how you keep a legacy and keep the youth ministry growing and healthy, even when you're gone. And it actually helps you to grow and for you to stay healthy. When you're investing in someone else. So that would be my challenge for you. Like before you leave student ministries, like whatever grade you're in, think about who you're gonna leave a legacy with.
Oh, that's so good, guys. That's so good. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Thanks for encouraging us, sharing wisdom, sharing fun stories. I love reminiscing on that kind of stuff. I could talk about that for forever. Maddie's heard all the stories multiple times, so she's probably sick of hearing it again. But I never get old of it, and I think that's just because I just had so much fun as a student, and that one of my goals is that students would have that much more of an experience than what I did. But I had such a good one that it's hard to beat.
Well, one day one of your kids is going to be preaching to your kids. So Carlo Jr.
That's so good. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Can you imagine that? That would be cool. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Hey, all students that are on the stream, would you throw up the clap hands and the praise hands in the chat, since that's as vocal as we can be? Hey, seriously, thanks for being here, guys. And hopefully we can see each other soon and in person and hang out and reminisce some more. I think that would be good.
That'd be awesome. Bless you, Bethel. You guys got one of the best right here. Love Maddie. Love Carlo. Love Moose too. That was awesome.
He's on the couch right here, snoring right now. Yeah, awesome. Okay,
it's so good.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Have a good night, guys.
Awesome
Bless
night.
you.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was so blessed by that. I hope that you were blessed by that. I don't know how to explain it, but it was something really special to have my mentors on the last couple weeks to be able to share what they shared with me over the last 15 plus years of my life with you. So I hope that over these last 4 weeks that there's things that have really stuck, that you've really learned. And our goal for you by the end of this would be that first off, you would say, I need a mentor in my life. I need to walk with somebody. I need someone to look to. I need someone that I know I can call with anything and they won't look at me differently. And secondly, that you would take what Pastor Holly and Jeremy said tonight, that what you are maybe already getting or you're going to get in mentorship, you would pass that along to the next generation. And if you're here tonight and you're like, Pastor Carlo, I'm in grade 8. I am the next generation. That's true, but there's a generation after you that are in grade 5 or 6 or in kids min. And so what we want from somebody, let's pass it on as well, irrelevant of whether it's in our life or not right now. It was so good tonight, so good tonight. I'm going to be watching this again because I just thought it was so awesome, and I need to watch it again and take notes. So something we've done over the last 4 weeks is we've taken a few minutes after the Zoom call just to after the live stream to head on to Zoom just for a couple minutes. And I'm going to open that up now, and I will put the link in, if I can find it. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Okay, I think it's there, and the password is just youth. Okay, yes, it's all in there now and good to go. So come and join us over on Zoom for the next few minutes. And before you leave, I want you to know that we are in the works of finishing up our summer plans over the next week or two. And it's all malleable because we're in COVID season. So you gotta give us a little grace of timetables and planning and stuff like that. But what we're looking to do is finally be able to meet back in person. Something we did last summer were smaller connect groups all around the city. That's an option that we're looking at. We're also looking at bonfire parties at the church. So we will let you know when those are going to start up. But so you know, this is technically the last live stream as far as we know. So next week, we're actually going to take a break from youth because I know that you guys got exams coming up soon. You need to study for that in the end of school. So I want to give you time to be able to do that. I want to honor your time there. And I want you to join us the following week for what we have planned. So stay tuned. If you're not following us on Instagram yet, it's at Bethel Students _. We're also on a Bethel Stratford Facebook page and group, and also on the website, bethelstratford.org, has all our information for youth. It's always getting updated pretty much all around the same time there. So stay tuned if you need to in those ways. And we'll see you over on the Zoom call for just a few minutes just to hang out, see each other face to face, and talk about the big idea for you that stuck out tonight, okay? So we'll see you over on Zoom. The password and stuff and the link is in the chat, okay? Peace. See you soon.